Welcome. Welcome to this very special event. The Gospel according to Jesus, Queen of Heaven. It will be a reading, it will be a performance, and a discussion in English and German. My name is Kerstin Söderblom. I'm the Protestant University chaplain here at the Protestant University Chaplaincy in Mainz. Welcome, everybody, and welcome especially dear Jo Clifford. You are the author of the English theater play, The Gospel According to Jesus, Queen of Heaven. You will introduce yourself in a minute. We are so happy that you're here with us tonight. You are coming all the way from Edinburgh in Scotland, and it's great that you're here. What an honor to have you. Welcome, dear Brix Schaumburg. You are the actor of the German theater play. We are grateful also to have you here tonight, and you will also introduce yourself in a minute. Welcome, dear Petra Weitzel from the German Society of Trans Identity here in Germany. You are one of our Kooperation partners, and you will also have a greeting and will introduce yourself in a minute. Welcome, dear Christine Schad, my dear colleague from the Catholic University Chaplaincy. We are the co-host here from the chaplaincy place, the ecumenical chaplaincy place at the university in Mainz, and you will also welcome all of us in German in a minute. Welcome, dear Veit Dinkelacker of the Bibelmuseum in Frankfurt. We are happy also that you are here tonight. You are one of the Kooperation partners. You will also have a greeting and introduce yourself, and you will explain a little about the history of this evening, this event, how it came about, and the making of, so to speak, how we all came together. Dear friends, we are so happy to welcome all of you tonight, also online or per video later on. It's wonderful to have those two Jo and Brix here in our midst today, and we are happy that all of you are here tonight in spite of COVID-19 and all the rest of it. We are honored to present this evening as a joint cooperation between the Catholic and the Protestant University Chaplaincy, the German Society of Trans Identity, and Bibelhaus in Frankfurt. Thank you so much for this cooperation, and I have hope of more to come. We are certainly looking forward to an interesting evening with a reading and a performance. Be open and curious about what's to come in English and in German with bits and pieces by Brix, and the possibility, of course, for questions and sharing afterwards. Well, it will be around Jesus, Queen of Heaven, and some maybe more queer perspectives on the Bible and more. I will lead through the evening in English, but feel free to also ask questions in German. One last request. We kindly ask you to keep on your mask even at the seat, and we have prepared some wine, water, and snacks. Again, we only ask you to eat at your seats. We will videotape this evening tonight, but only those who will be in front will be taped. Everybody else is safe. When you ask a question, you can give us a sign if you want to be taped. Okay, we will have some 90 minutes or even more, but by 9 o'clock we will be certainly ready. I want to now pass on the mic to my dear colleague Christine Schad. After that, Petra and Veit. Enjoy the evening, and thanks so much again that you're here.
Herzlich willkommen bei unserer besonderen Lesung The Gospel According to Jesus, Queen of Heaven, geschrieben von Jo Clifford. Die Lesung und die Diskussion werden in englischer Sprache sein und meine Kollegin Hochschulpfarrerin Dr. Kerstin Söderblom, wir haben sie gerade schon gehört und gesehen, wird diesen Abend moderieren. Die Lesung und die Diskussion werden in englischer Sprache sein, man kann aber auch in Deutsch fragen. Wir begrüßen ganz herzlich Jo Clifford und Brix Schaumburg. Brix Schaumburg spielt die Rolle Jesus Queen of Heaven im deutschen Film, den wir hier auch am 8. Dezember zeigen werden. Außerdem begrüßen wir ganz herzlich Petra Weitzel von der Deutschen Gesellschaft für Transidentität und Intersexualität dgti und Veit Dinkelacker vom Bibelhaus in Frankfurt mit der aktuellen Ausstellung Gott MDW. Es ist wundervoll, Sie, euch heute Abend hier in unserer Mitte zu haben. Und wir sind wirklich glücklich, dass Sie vor allen Dingen auch von so weit hier sind, trotz einer mehr und mehr, wie wir alle wissen, einschränkenden Lage. Und ganz herzlich willkommen, liebe Studentinnen und Freundinnen. Es ist uns, den evangelischen und katholischen Hochschulgemeinden, eine Ehre, heute eine Kooperationsveranstaltung mit der Deutschen Gesellschaft für Transidentität und Intersexualität, dgti, und dem Bibelhaus Frankfurt durchführen zu können. Vielen Dank für diese Kooperation. Wir erwarten einen interessanten Abend, ja, mit einer Lesung oder Performance aus dem Theaterstück, mit der Möglichkeit, Fragen zu stellen, Gedanken und Ideen auszutauschen, alles rund um Jesus Queen of Heaven und andere queere Sichtweisen auf die Bibel, Theater und mehr. Wir bitten freundlich darum, die Masken auch am Platz aufzubehalten. Wir haben Wein und Wasser und Snacks bereitgestellt und auch diese bitten wir nur auf dem Platz zu verzehren. Wir werden eine Videoaufnahme des Abends anfertigen. Nur die Personen im Podium werden aufgenommen. Wer sich beteiligen möchte und nicht aufs Bild möchte, kann dies auch signalisieren. Wir freuen uns über Gedanken, Fragen und Anmerkungen zu diesem Abend. Wir haben 90 Minuten Zeit und spätestens um 21 Uhr werden wir den Abend beschließen. Wir wünschen nun allen einen interessanten Abend mit Jo Clifford, Brix Schaumburg. Okay. The Queens, ja. Und vor allen Dingen einen respektvollen Austausch von Gedanken und Eindrücken. Und nun gebe ich das Mikrofon weiter an Veit Dinkelacker vom Bibelhaus in Frankfurt.
Vielen Dank, Christine Schad. Ganz toll, heute Abend dabei zu sein. Thank you very much for having us here. Kerstin, within the procedures to get to the exhibition, Gott, weiblich, männlich, divers, God, female, male, diverse, Geschlechtervielfalt seit biblischen Zeiten, gender diversity since biblical times, which is now happening in Frankfurt till December 19th. A warm welcome to, after this, come to Frankfurt and see the exhibition. Kerstin, you've been contributing to the catalog with perspectives on queer theology, and within the making of the exhibition we came across Jo Clifford's play, The Gospel According to Jesus, Queen of Heaven. And it was an idea, since it wasn't been having translated in German, to do this in German. So I approached Petra Weitzel, who is also within a contributor within the catalog and in the exhibition, and from the dgti, and asked her, would you have a suggestion for somebody to maybe translate it into German and to maybe even perform it? So I got to know through email, of course, we are in the pandemic, Brix Schaumburg. And it worked out so well that we actually came about, and Brix got in touch with Jo Clifford, and we all figured it out. So now we are here tonight. The video is done. It can be streamed. There are 9 on the webpage of the Bible House Erlebnismuseum. You can actually order and buy tickets and join in. And I heard with pleasure that you will see it here in Mainz too. Tomorrow is the next screening date. So and it was such a pleasure to figure out this evening together with Kerstin and Christine to be hosted here in Mainz and to have you both on the red couch here and to know more, to get to know more about Jesus, Queen of Heaven. Thank you for having us here, and I now pass on to Petra Weitzel.
Good evening, welcome to our viewers. My name is Petra Weitzel, Chair of dgti, Deutsche Gesellschaft für Transidentität und Intersexualität, German Association for Transgender and Intersexuality. Let me spend some words why we are doing this. My predecessor as Chair of dgti, Patricia Metzer, was once a priest of a free evangelical church in Germany. Once she came out as trans, she was fired. And I think this should not happen today. That's why we support every event like this to bring believers and trans-positive people and trans and inter people together. Mein Name ist Petra Weitzel, Vorsitzende der Deutschen Gesellschaft für Transidentität und Intersexualität. Ja, warum machen wir das? Warum unterstützen wir diese tolle Veranstaltung hier? Meine Vorgängerin als Vorsitzende, Patricia Metzer, war einst Pfarrerin einer freievangelischen Gemeinde. Und als sie ihr Coming Out als Transperson hatte, wurde sie gefeuert. Und das sollte heutzutage nicht mehr passieren. Und deswegen unterstützt die dgti solche Veranstaltungen wie diese hier. Und ich wünsche einen schönen Abend. Wer kommt als nächstes? Genau.
Hello. Thank you so much. What an honor. What a pleasure to be here on the red sofa. Das rote Sofa. Eh? Amazing. I'm very happy to be here. I'm Jo Clifford. I am a playwright. I'm the author of about 100 plays. And I am a proud father, and I'm a proud grandmother. And I live in Edinburgh. And I'm very happy to be here. And in a moment, we are going to do a reading from different parts of the play. You must understand that in this play, I imagine, and you are invited to imagine, that Jesus has come back to earth, as he and she promised they would. Yeah? And we know that the child of God, when they return to earth, do not take the form of a rich person or a powerful person, but they take the form of an oppressed person, of someone who suffers prejudice and distress, just as Jesus did all those years ago. And so the play imagines that Jesus returns to earth as a trans woman. And this is what she has to say. This is how it all began. A group of us meeting as friends because we want to change the world. I don't know why they said we were only 12. Well, sometimes we were less. But often we were more. And I don't know why they said we were only men. Some of us are men. Matthew? Dear soul, he, like us, knew what it was to be an outcast. He was a tax collector. And Philip, who baptized the eunuch. And John, who I so dearly loved. But there were women among us too. Of course there were. Wild women, fierce women, Mary, Martha, Salome. And some of us are men who used to be women. And some of us, women who used to be men. And some of us, men and women at the same time. And we confuse people. And I love that in us most of all. Because we are the Hijra of India, Katoi of Thailand, Waria of Indonesia, Bisu of the archipelago, Fafafine of Samoa, Mushe of Mexico, Travesti of Brazil, Two-Spirit people of North America, Shaman of Siberia, Yandodu of West Africa, and many, many more besides. For verily, verily, I say unto you, every culture, in every place and time, has known of us and celebrated us mostly, except for this one. And it is in the minority. And I don't understand why in those few places on this tormented earth where we openly flaunt our dear and beautiful selves, why so often we have to work the streets as harlots and whores. But I honor us anyway, all of us, for to be us, to embody this so-called shame and this disgrace is an honor and a privilege. And the last shall be first, and the first last. And remember, all of you, remember, I never said, beware the homosexual or the transgendered or the queer. I never said that. I said, beware the self-righteous and the hypocrite. Beware those who pass judgment on others and think themselves virtuous. Those who condemn others and imagine themselves good. Ugh, they may have goodness on their lips, but their hearts are full of hatred. And that is why I said, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, whited sepulchres, that on the outside look so sleek and smooth, but on the inside are a mass of filth and corruption. That is why I said, beware of them. But never, never, never beware the homosexual or the transgendered or the queer, because I, Jesus of Nazareth, am one of them. I always was queer. I always am queer. And I always shall be queer. From now until the end of time. That's the sermon over. Sermons are so dull. But look at you. You've just listened to one. You clever things. So now, I'm going to tell a story. All right? All right? Yeah. Forgive me. I'm sitting in front of you.
Go.
So, once upon a time, there was a man who had 2 sons. And the younger came to know she was his daughter and didn't know what to do. But in the end, she went to her father and she said, "Father, forgive me, for I can no longer be called your son." But the father did not forgive her. The father called his whole household together and he said, "This creature has brought dishonor on all of us." And he cast her out. Poor man. He was only doing what he thought he was supposed to. And in his heart of hearts, he loved his child. So he gave her a whole load of money on the side. And the daughter, who had once been a son, went away to live in a far country. And there, not being very inclined to be prudent, she spent all the money her father had given her on gorgeous dresses and lovely shoes, until all the money was gone and she was out in the street without a euro to her name. And all her friends who adored her when she wore Prada and Versace now called her a chav and would have nothing to do with her. So what was she to do? Oh, poor love. What was she to do? All alone in a far country? Well, she had to take work where she could find it. So she took a job in a hotel kitchen, cleaning the pots and pans. Horrible work, dirty. The pay was terrible and the hours were long and she often went hungry. And what made it worse was that they were very wasteful in that place and they threw away a whole load of food that in her father's house would have made very, very good food for the pigs. But they weren't allowed to touch it, they had to throw it away. So she said to herself, "In my father's house, they treat the animals better than they treat the workers in this place. I know what I will do. I will go back to my father and I will fall at his feet. And I will say, 'Oh, Father, I'm so sorry, but I cannot be your son. And if you cannot accept me as your daughter, then, at least employ me as your kitchen maid.'" So that's what she did, hitching rides and hiding in goods wagons, until she came close to her father's house, and her father saw her coming from a long way off, and he ran out to meet her, and she fell at his feet and said, "Father." But he wouldn't let her finish. He lifted her up in his arms, and he embraced her. And he said to his household, run to a scented bath and find her a gorgeous dress, and let's crack open the best champagne, and let's have a party, for she that was gone has returned. She that was dead is alive. She that was lost is found. Oh, and we must celebrate. And so they did. And then the elder son came home from the office when the party was in full swing. The house tended to be very, very serious kind of place. And he didn't know what was happening. But when he found out, he was furious. And he went to his father and he said, "Father, I've always been a good son to you, and you've never so much as given me a decent suit. But when this pervert comes home, it gets everything." And the father said, Oh, I'm so sorry. I know you've always done your best, but the fact is you're rather dull, and you've never loved me, and you have lost yourself. Whereas my new daughter, she was gone and has returned. She was dead and is alive. She was lost and is found. I have found her, and she has found herself. And of course we must celebrate. And so they did. Because the queendom is like that. The queendom, it's like a grain of mustard seed. It's tiny, tiny, tiny. You can try and hide it if you like. But if you do, it will grow inside you, big, 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 until there is no room for anything beside it. For I tell you, what was hid must come to light. And we all have a light inside us. And sometimes it's the very thing we've been taught to be most ashamed of. And if you have a light, do you hide it in a closet? No. You bring it out into the open where everyone can see it and be glad it exists to shine in the world.
Okay, so how should I follow up on that one?
With ease, dear. With your beauty and
come back here. Okay, hello everyone, my name is Briggs. I've been given a beautiful title, I dearly hate love, because I am the first outed trans actor in Germany. Wow, what a title. I can wear it proud because I know I'm not the first one, but I'm the first one they publicly outed, and I can only wear it because I want so many more to follow me or join me, join us, because what's it worth living by yourself? Life is much better if you have beautiful people around you. So I think this is how this happened, because the dgti is part of my life. I think I contacted you in 2011 when I didn't know what to do with my life. And so that's 10 years. 10 years. And I'm very glad that the circle of life works that way. And it sounds very big if I say you gave me life, but in some sort of way you gave me life. And so now I hope I do that to many other people as well, by just being visibly out in the media world. And when Fight contacted me, we said it all yesterday, and it gets better every day. And the more we say it, the better it gets. But it makes me very proud that a white, cis, hetero male contacts you, asking you to perform a very queer, trans play. Because that happens very rarely. So we need more allies like Fight in this world. And if you don't know what an ally is, I'm pretty sure you can look it up, but in very short or little words, be someone who stands up for others. And this is not just for the LGBTQ community or LGBTQIA community. Stand up for each other. It's us humans who need to stand up for other humans, because we are the only ones in our ways. So this is what I learned in life and what I love about life. And I was transitioning and trying to become me, and the journey to loving myself, and never really open and ready to meet other trans people, because I wasn't ready to hear different stories, because I was struggling with my own story probably. But now I'm so happy to meet more and more people. That started, I think, 3 years ago, when I know where I was standing. And what I wanted to say is, and I'm pretty sure Joe and me talked about it, but it's all right if you need time. Take your time. And please don't expect others to understand and accept things by tomorrow, because you don't do it, so don't expect it from others. This is what I learned, and my parents needed time, I needed time, and sometimes I still need time. And even in our trans community, we do see things very differently. And that's also very fine and very good, because you live your life, I live my life, and we should respect each other, love each other, and we don't need to live each other's lives. So if it makes you happy, it makes me happy, and that applies to all of you. And so I'm very glad I opened up to churches again as well. And because when I talk to queer people, church is not really the first thing that comes into their mind. But I promise you, you just haven't found the right church yet, and the right people. And because there are queer people everywhere. Maybe not in the church next door, but maybe in a different church. There's definitely one church in Mainz that opens the doors for you. And yes, I want to share or read a short bit of the German version, because you, Joel, already said so much. And there's more to come, I know you, because we're going to hear a beautiful blessing if you want to, and I'm sure you want to. But when I translated the piece, what I love the most is that I can see bits from our daily lives in it. And so I like this part a lot. And I do it in German so we all understand it and Of course, I translate it into German. I don't want to read your beautiful words. Okay, ich habe gerade kurz gesagt, dass ich das Stück so wundervoll fand, weil es mich so sehr an tägliche Alltagssituationen erinnert. Dafür musste ich das Stück sehr, sehr oft lesen, um es immer wieder und immer wieder deutlicher rauszulesen, rauszuhören, wie die Welt heutzutage funktioniert und auch was Joe gerade performt hat. Wenn ihr das später nochmal hört, allein die Situation, wo die Tochter sich aus der Arbeit zurückzieht, wo zum Beispiel selbst die Schweine in ihrem Haus besser gehalten werden würden. Und da kam es allein schon in meinen Kopf. In meiner Studentenzeit habe ich in sehr vielen Catering-Firmen gearbeitet und was wir allein in unserer Welt alles wegschmeißen müssen, laut per Gesetz, das ist da in diesem Zitat sehr stark verankert und deswegen werde ich euch jetzt was vorlesen und ihr dürft ja gerne einfach mal hinhören und vielleicht hört ihr schon raus, worauf ich hinaus will. Es war einmal ein Mensch, der war gerade auf seinem Weg heraus aus einem Ghetto. Mainz hat natürlich kein Ghetto. Nehmen wir jetzt als Beispiel das Rotlichtviertel um den Frankfurter Bahnhof. Er wollte den Frankfurter Bahnhof hinter sich lassen, weiterlaufen und einfach nur nach Hause. Er wurde ausgeraubt, verprügelt und sie haben ihm den Tod überlassen. Und der Bischof kam vorbei. Auf seinem Heimweg, ganz normal, lief er natürlich durch das Rotlichtviertel, wie das mal passieren kann. Ob er von einer Prostituierte kam oder auch nicht, das sei jetzt dahingestellt. Er sah den Mann in Nöten und dachte sich, ach, das ist bestimmt auch wieder nur so ein Junkie und überhaupt. Ich kann nicht riskieren, dass man mich um diese Uhrzeit hier mitten in der Nacht sieht. Und was glaubt ihr? Natürlich, er ging weiter. Es kam ein Polizist nach getaner Arbeit. Es war ein langer Tag, ein harter Tag. Und er war es leid, die Menschen zu sehen. Es war überdrüssig. Und er dachte, das ist bestimmt wieder nur so ein Junkie. Für den kann ich eh nichts mehr tun. Ja, es war ein langer Tag. Aber er ließ ihn liegen und auch er ging nach Hause. Und dann, wir befinden uns immer noch im Rotlichtviertel, kam eine Queen vorbei. Sie torkelte. Sie konnte nicht mehr gerade laufen. Sagen wir mal so, sie war voll wie eine Haubitze. Auf dem Heimweg, ihre Absätze, einen hatte sie schon da hinten bei Meckes verloren und der andere hing noch halb dran. Es klebte ein Hauch von letzter Nacht an ihren Lippen und auch in ihren Haaren. Ihr Kleid war zerrissen, ihr Make-up hing überall und die Strümpfe waren nur noch Fetzen. Und sie sah den Mann und dachte sich, du arme Sau. Sie nahm ihr Handy raus, sie rief einen Krankenwagen und sie wartete. Sie war voll wie eine Haubitze. Sie konnte kaum noch gerade stehen, aber sie wartete. Sie wartete auf den Krankenwagen, bis er kam. Und ich frage mich, ich frage uns alle, wer von diesen 3 Menschen war jetzt sein Nächster? Und dann geht die Geschichte weiter mit dem Vater und den 2 Söhnen. Und diesen Part habe ich besonders geliebt, weil mir ist genau diese Geschichte passiert, als ich auf Teneriffa gewohnt habe. Auf Teneriffa gibt es viele Damen in Südteneriffa, die nachts ihr Geld verdienen mit Jobs, die man schlecht betitelt, manchmal nicht freiwillig macht oder wie dem auch sei. Aber es ist ein Job und ich habe auf meinem Weg zur Arbeit einen sehr, sehr verletzten jungen Schotten gefunden. Und auf der Bank bei dem jungen Schotten saß eine Prostituierte. Und sie war die einzige Person, die sich in der Nacht um den Jungen gekümmert hat. Bis ich kam und ihm mein T-Shirt gegeben habe, mein Handy, weil ihm wurde alles geklaut. Er wusste nicht mehr wo er wohnte, weil man hat ja heutzutage nur noch alles auf seinem Handy gespeichert. Und wenn das weg ist, dann geht gar nichts mehr. das kennen wir, das ist ein Problem in 2021. Aber der junge Mann saß da, ich habe mich in sein Facebook eingeloggt, habe seinen Freunden geschrieben, wo die den abholen können. Und als ich das Stück übersetzt habe und gelesen habe, habe ich gedacht, wow, es ist eine so alte Geschichte und wir finden uns noch heute wieder in diesen Wörtern. Und das hat mir sehr zu denken gegeben und umso öfter ich das lese oder höre, umso mehr höre ich noch raus. Und ich frage mich, warum helfen wir einander nicht oder wo ist unsere Barriere, wo ist unsere Hürde? Ist ja nicht so, als müssten wir den Menschen alles geben, wenn wir vorbeilaufen, aber man könnte ja wenigstens mal die Person nett anstupsen und fragen, ob alles okay ist. Ist nicht zu viel verlangt. Und das habe ich für mich gelernt. So, thank you. I hope you understood everything. Now, I haven't told you, I experienced a very similar story. And I found a young boy in Tenerife. And there was the prostitute was waiting with him all night till someone came who was actually willing to help him. And I helped him, but she did. No taxi driver, no one wanted to take him home or take him in because he was bloody drunk and, well, British maybe. No, but, yeah. So, we talked about a lot last night with a bunch of young Protestants from Hessen-Nassau. That was very, very interesting. And I don't know if you have any questions, but I think I would say the stage is open to to questions. And again, I'm just very thankful, Petra. Thank you for contacting this triangle and made it possible to connect. And yeah, shoot with questions.
Give us questions. Okay, so first of all, I hope there's coming more because I'm still curious. But so far, thank you so much for the two of you and your stories that you shared with me. And I want to give a clap here. You know, listening to you, I really thought, wow, I just heard two sermons, you know, one from the lost daughter and one from who is the next person to you. And of course, as a pastor myself, I recognize the stories. I recognize the biblical stories. And I recognize when I listen to you how much I knew it in theory, how much that really connects to our daily lives today. So already, I thank you so much for the stories. And as I say, I hope there are more to come. If there are questions, you let me know. I have one. I mean, it's queering the Bible, right? And I would like to ask you, Joe, where is that coming from? Is that how could you be able to, you know, translate those biblical stories into your daily imagination, into your daily life stories? What made you do this, and how is this kind of wonderful creativity working? Because I'm quite impressed and I'm really touched by it, honestly. So how did you go about this this kind of work? I mean, is this coming out of you because that's you, or how is this working? I'm just curious.
Well, when I was for the first 50 years of my life, I tried to live as a man. I had a very beautiful wife. I had two beautiful daughters. And it was very important for me to be a good father and be a good husband. And I knew, of course, that I somehow was not a man. I didn't know who I was, but I knew I was not a man. And they knew that, yeah? But when I turned 50, but I kind of thought, okay, I must keep living as a man as best I can and try to openly express the woman inside me. That's what I must try and do. But I couldn't. And when I was 50, this was very clear to me. And I knew that I had to start writing about being trans, being the person that I was. I had already written many, many plays. I was successful as a playwright. I was successful as a playwright, I was successful as a husband, I was successful as a father, but I was miserable inside. So, and I wondered, why do I hate myself so much? Why do other people hate trans people? Why do other people hate people like me? Why do I hate myself? And I thought the answer lies in the Bible, somehow. Because even though we're supposed to live in a secular society, these old stories live on inside us. So I did a lot of work on the Old Testament. And I realized that, and it's all in his exhibition, what I realized in the year 2000. I was a bit ahead of him, I think. But it's all there. I realized that, before there was a Father God in the sky, there was a Mother God on the earth. And that's what we worshipped, generally. And that as the Father God gained strength, he did everything in his power to suppress worship and knowledge of the Mother Goddess. And one way of thinking about the Bible is of this struggle of the male God to suppress the feminine inside himself. And that was very like my struggle as a teenager, as an adolescent, as a child, as a young man, to suppress the female in myself. That's what the world forced me to do. And so the play was my story and the story of God's story. And I put the Bible on trial, and I found the Bible guilty of being a work of pornography. The Bible corrupts innocent people. I decided it corrupted me, and it destroyed me, and it filled me with unhappiness. The Bible was pornography. And I called this play God's New Frock, and I performed it. It was the first time I'd really performed. This was in 2002, 2003. And various things happened. While I was doing this, I met an amazing woman called Marcella Althouse-Reed. Yeah? A wonderful woman who was working in Edinburgh, a queer theologian. And she supported me. She helped me. She published the book. She was dead by then, but posthumously it was in her last book, my play. I was so touched. And I thought, okay, maybe this wasn't so bad an idea. But in the meantime, I had a breakdown because I was still trying to live as a man in spite of everything. And then my producer got very ill, and my director gave up the theatre. And I had a whole load of other work, and then my wife died. She had a brain tumor, and I had to look after her for 6 months. And then after that, I had to live as a woman. I could no longer go on living as a man. And so all this meant that I forgot my play. God's New Frock, I forgot about it. But somehow it found its way to Italy, to a theatre company in Florence called Teatro della Limonaia. And it was a huge hit in Italy. And I went to see it. The theatre was full, and they were loving it. Oh my God, I thought, I've written something. This really matters. Oh. And I said to them, okay, I'll write you a play about the New Testament. If you give me a flat for 3 weeks in Florence next summer, for free. So they did that. And in the meantime, I read the Gospels. I treated the Gospels like a novel. I'm very good at adapting novels. Very, very good at it. And I read the text over and over again, and I see which bits move me, which bits I like, which bits I can relate to, which bits I can make my own. And that's what I did. But I didn't quite know how I was going to do it, but I went to Florence. I had 3 weeks, and somehow Jesus spoke to me in my imagination. She came alive, and I tuned into her. And that's how I wrote the play. And by that stage, I was so moved by the Jesus of the Gospels, who was completely different from the Jesus that I thought he was. It was beautiful. What Jesus says in the Gospels is amazing. It's really a gospel of liberation. Yeah? I went, oh my God. And if Jesus were alive, just as Jesus in the Gospel loved the oppressed, he loved people who suffered from prejudice, yeah? And just as in Brix's story there, he loved Samaritans that everybody thought were bad people. He loved these people. And I knew that if I was there, well, I knew we would have been there. We were there because we have been all through history. And I discovered that there was the whole story of the woman, when it came to finding a room for the Last Supper. Disciples had to go and find a man carrying a water jar. And as I say earlier in another bit of the play, men don't carry water. Men are too ashamed. And how strange it is that men should be proud to carry knives and guns, proud to carry the instruments of death, but ashamed to carry the source of life. But she wasn't ashamed. She was beautiful. Yeah, this woman born male, wearing a woman's dress with flair. So in the Gospels, queer people in the Gospels. And Philip baptized the eunuch. Wow, I didn't know that. That was in Acts. How old was I? 55 years old. I'd never come across that. Amazing. So that's how I wrote the play. And I wrote it as an act of devotion. And then I turned up to perform it, and the street was full of angry Christians. Full of angry Christians. Full of angry Catholics who had brought along the statue of the Virgin Mary, because I had insulted her by suggesting her son was trans. And full of angry Protestants who had placards saying, God says, my son is not a pervert. Yeah? Usually in Glasgow at that time, Catholics and Protestants hated each other. It's a big problem in Glasgow, still is. But I brought them together because they all united in hatred of me. Yeah? And it's lovely to see you two together here, and you're not united in hatred of me. Anyway, I could go on. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Oops. Thank you so much. This is the sense of humor that queer perspectives get into the picture. Yes. Thank you so much, and thank you for telling your own story. If I may, and you please jump in wherever you want to. Well, first of all, that's really touching. Also what you said at the end, that there are so many people uniting in hatred instead of uniting in respect and support and solidarity. And I get a small little picture of my own story and my own coming out, also in religious places where there should be a safe space, but oftentimes isn't. So thanks for your story. Now, if I may, I would like to also ask you, Brix, it's interesting to listen to you saying that your play was so successful in Italy, when it obviously also made a language change, or at least a context change. And now I would love to know from you how it was for you to translate the English theater play into German and into your life, because that's what you told us, and that's also very touching for me. Because for me, I do believe that every translation is also interpretation, because it gets a new context, a new surrounding, and a new life is relating to it as you related to those stories. And how was that for you?
Well, I mean, first of all, I always love a good challenge, and getting familiar with like the Bible quotes and all of these pieces in your piece, in her piece, is, I mean, it's not like reading a book. So I had a few challenges, but I never saw it as a challenge. But when Veit called me, I had some people turning away from me, telling me that they want nothing to do with the Bible, with the church, or with the topic itself. And it was one female from Brazil who experienced something very bad during her childhood in the church community. So I think hate always comes from somewhere. And that was a journey, and I was straight away like, okay, that's fine, but I had a good feeling. I always trust my guts, and I read it, and I had brilliant help. I had two people helping me, and we kept reading, writing, reading again, and then of course we Zoom called a lot, as we all learned during this beautiful past 2 years, and you gave me permission to do whatever within the play. I never changed a sentence, but I gave it my twist. Now I would give it even more of my twist, because we met and we trust each other. Because if I give you my work, it's a baby you hand over, and I respect that. So, and I even asked her if it's okay if a male trans person is performing it. And I think you said, doesn't matter as long as you're trans. And I mean, we all are in some way.
Yeah.
And because life is a transition. Just as much as our transition is never done. Because people keep asking, when you're done? Well, not for as long as I'm alive, but that's a different story. So it was challenging, beautiful, fun, scary not really, but I mean we had to overcome some challenges I've never had to face before, because we wanted to perform it, and I said straight away, no, forget it. We just film it straight away, and we make it look like something that we can both use. And I mean, you see it tomorrow, right? No, on the 8th.
We will see it on the 8th of December.
In December. And because I really like not just Veit, but the Bibelhaus, and it's so beautiful and delicate, and
it's gorgeous.
It's not like one of these massive museums where you walk in and you're just blinded by the dinosaurs or whatever. So you have to read for the tiniest objects, and you have to go through history, and I learned so much. So I thought, okay, I give your museum the best look in my video. So I took the Queen Jesus through the entire exhibition. So that's what I did. But I'm still very excited to get on stage because that will be very different, completely different. Now it's Queen Jesus in an exhibition. And at some point it's coming to life differently. And then I will be scared for the people outside, hopefully protesting. Because like you said it yesterday, and it's a sentence I really love, people protest or start hate if change is coming. Mm-hmm. And we need change.
Yes, thank you so much.
The people outside can hate it as long as the people inside don't.
Well, you know, you're more than welcome to come back here. You see, this is not only a holy space in the sense it's a church, but it's also a screen. And it's always been both. And it's a safe space, and we are very proud of that, with the students, with the colleagues from all the different denominations. And so you're very welcome back, both of you, obviously, but also you. If you ever need a stage as a stage, then please come back here, you're welcome.
No, I tell you, if my director Susan was here, and my producer Annabelle, they would say, yes, let's do it here. This is amazing. I love this space.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Why don't we have a deal here? We have witnesses that you come back. But you know, I want to rather shut up and give you the floor again for another piece in English and in German, if you may, if you want to. But one last comment from my side. I mean, I said already, it's queering the Bible. You know, what you do is queering the Bible and relating your life story to the biblical stories and back again. And you know, when I was a theology student, my professors always said, well, if biblical stories still want to tell us something in the 20th now, it was 20th then and now 21st century, then you have to relate it to your own stories and tell the story again as if it was you. And really, you too do that beautifully. And I really want to thank you for that. And I wish I had been listening to you much earlier. That would have given me the courage to be even more, also me, trying to relate my story to biblical stories. You know, I've always struggled with that and all these conflicts and crises and throwing away the stuff and then coming back to it. I mean, I am a student of theology. I'm still, even though I'm a pastor, I'm still a student and I'm struggling with those texts. But it's beautiful to see that related to daily lives, and thanks again. And I would love to give you the floor again for another story.
Okay, are there other questions?
Yes, if there are more questions, please, go ahead.
I got a question from, I don't know who to ask. From you, maybe. Have you got a question? No. That's fantastic. Have you got a question? Yes and no.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, thank you so much. Not a real question, only an idea. 3 years ago, we had a conference in Dublin with European university chaplains, and at the end, someone says the main or the most important question is not why, it is why not. And as you told us, the question you asked, why don't we help each other? What is the problem? Helping each other. So I think, thank you. I saw your friendly face during your presentation. And yes, why not? Why not being friendly? Why not helping each other? That's the question I take with me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It could be so easy to be good to each other.
Yeah.
But do you know what crossed my mind is when you said it again outside was there were people holding a sign, God said, my son is not a pervert. So what's crossing my mind is like, okay, then you're good. Because it's, I mean, even the sign says so. I don't understand.
Yeah. What about you two? Is this something you would like to ask? You and you? No, you all right? How about you, dear? You are responsible for this happening. You are a very important person here.
Not really a question, but a statement. I think you make bricks crumble. The bricks of the Catholic Church and the Lutheran Church, which has always crumbled, yes. And a superior of the Lutheran Church in Berlin said, it's not just men and women, not just day and night. There is in between. There is the sunset and the morning and the transition between the two. There is more. And as long as you work, those churches will be convinced that there has to be changed to something. 2 weeks ago, I have been to the Catholic Church at the bishop here in Mainz, and even they are on the move. So there is hope in the distance, but it's coming closer.
Veit, is there something you would like to ask?
Okay. You can't believe how excited I am that we are all here and that you come visiting us. It's been such a tremendous honor to even get the suggestion Jo Clifford might come to Frankfurt and to the Rhine-Main area and be with us and talk with us about everything. Well, still, who am I? And I just wanted to express once more that the piece, when I heard of it, I couldn't get a hold on it. It was not available in Germany. I had to order it through Amazon.com to get it delivered here. And it is a universal language which has been spoken in this, and we just experienced this today and yesterday, and Brix took it to German, so it's there. And I always wonder why it doesn't happen more, that we find language to speak to our hearts like this piece does, and where you really, as Kerstin pointed out again, feel the force of liberation that we all need, and that's been transported. It struck me from the first lines I read, and then I saw you online, because the pandemic forced you to perform Queen Jesus also online, and I got the privilege to see it, and you were performing the piece again. This one sentence, because I, Jesus of Nazareth, I am queer, I was queer, and I shall be queer forever and ever. That's my words now, but it. I said, well, yeah, true, and it started that I myself felt queer, and I thought maybe all Christians are queer anyway. Why not? I mean, really, aren't we? So I felt the call. Thank you for that. How do you do that? And yes, indeed. yeah, maybe you can, it really would, I would be interested in what you just touched, how you came upon to write down the piece in Florence, which is an amazing story, if you ask me. It's from a book itself, but what kind of, can you describe where it switched, that you knew this is going to be what it turned out to be?
Well, my first idea was that this would be the story of John, because that was my name, John. And I always loved the story. I always loved John, because John was Jesus' favorite disciple, right? And John was the only one in all the pictures without a beard. And, I thought maybe it's the story of John. That was one theory. But then, at that time, I also knew and was very, very fond of a trans woman who worked as a prostitute in Edinburgh. And she helped me so much. And I thought, maybe this will be her story, and it will be the story of Mary Magdalene. Yeah? That was my first idea. And so it's like a radio. I'm like a radio. I tune in to characters. But those two didn't say anything. They were dumb. They didn't speak to me. And so I thought, well, what will I do? And the first place I went to in Florence was the cathedral. And there is an amazing Pietà by Michelangelo. And I don't know what it was about that, but I thought, this is Jesus. You are speaking to me. And I tuned into Jesus, and oh my God, she started to talk. And I wrote down what she had to say. So it was a mystery. Every act of creation is a mystery. And I cannot write a single word unless somehow it is me, but it's not me. Yeah? Does that make any sense? And so my life is in this play. And the amazing actress in Brazil, Renata Carvalho, her life is in this play. And she was thrown out by her father when she was just 16. She was forced out onto the streets, and she worked as a rent boy, as a prostitute on the streets of Rio de Janeiro for many years. So this is her story. And when I was looking after my wife, Susie, as she was dying of a brain tumor, and Susie was the cleverest person I knew. She was totally brilliant. She was a fantastic public intellectual. And she founded and was working on the Biographical Dictionary of Scottish Women, a revolutionary book of women's history. And then she was struck by the cancer in her brain. And it was the cruelest thing. She could not stop working on the dictionary, but she could not do it because the cancer was destroying her. And it tormented her. It tormented all of us. And when I was a child, I was told that crucifixion was the cruelest death that humans could devise. And I thought, oh my God, not even human beings at their cruelest could devise the kind of torture that this cancer is inflicting on the woman I love. This is impossible. And then that made me think about the crucifixion. And what does that mean? And I've never believed that Jesus died on the cross to redeem our sins. And I'm so sorry, I can't believe that. And I say in the play, I can't atone for your sins. I'm sorry. Your sins are your sins. My sins are mine. But Jesus dies on the cross as we all must die. And in the story of how he dies, he shows us how to die. Yeah, he forgives those people that have been bad to him. He says to John and to his mother, "This is your mother. Mother, this is your son." He helps those who are dying with him. And finally, he gives up hope, as we all must. Lama, Lama, why have you forsaken me? And so then I understood that, yeah, we must all die. And this is something that unites us all. And so at the end, I say in the play, all of us here to love one another and to be loved. All of us in this together. All of us here to love one another and to be loved. And you see, that's what you're saying. Yeah? We are here to be good to one another. We are here to love one another. And I don't understand why we don't, but there we are. We are here to love one another. Remember, remember, remember. And now, let's bless. Yeah? And before the pandemic, I have everybody stand up and everybody hold hands. And I'm so sorry I can't ask you to do that. But you must imagine you are all holding hands and that we are standing in a circle looking at each other. As I am looking at you, and oh my God, look at you. How beautiful you all are. All of you. And we look at each other and we say, how beautiful we are. And then Jesus says, I love this bit. I love blessing people. Jesus says, bless the timid and the shy, for we shall be shameless. Bless the lonely and misunderstood, for we shall have everyone we want. Bless the poor, for we shall be rich. Bless the rich, for we shall lose everything. Bless the boy in the closet, in the silk wedding gown, for we shall come out. Bless the prostitute, for we shall be honored. Bless the frigid and the impotent, for we shall have sex forever and ever, and it will be very, very good. Bless the fathers who don't care because we were never cared for we shall be loved. Bless the mothers who hit because we cannot still our children's tears, for we shall be comforted. Bless the bully and the criminal, for we shall lose all fear. bless those poor, frightened souls who go into government, for we will lose all power. Bless us when we shell and we bomb, and we oppress those people we consider to be our enemies. Bless our enemies for fighting back as best we can. For we shall come to know one day that we are all one people in the end. Bless this beautiful church. Huh? Bless these two amazing women chaplains here. Bless the People House. Bless you. I don't know who you are, but bless you because you're beautiful. Bless you. Bless you. And the ESG, is that you? This wonderful organization. Bless you. Bless Bricks. Bless this amazing city of Mainz. Bless this gorgeous young woman behind the camera. You and him. Bless you. And everybody watching this, bless you. Bless all of us. Bless us when we're happy. Bless us when we're sad. Bless us when we're frozen in terror. Remind us we are not alone. We never were. We never are. We never shall be. For he is she, and she is he, and we are they, and they are we, and shall be forever and ever and ever and ever. Amen. Amen.
Phew. And blessed be you, Joe. Blessings to you also. And thank you so much. I think I've never listened to such a beautiful blessing. Thank you. We still have some time if you want to.
Oh, we still have some time. Oh my God.
But we can also say this is the official version, but I would like to ask you if you also want to have one last sentence. This beautiful blessing is here in our hearts, and I'm proud to say it's in this church, and I'm very grateful for that. It's going to keep the spirit, the queer spirit in this church, and I'm very happy with that, and I think we all carry it right here. So thank you so much for your blessings, for your words, and for everything you said. And yeah, Brix, do you have something, a word for us also?
Well, I think a blessing can't get any better. And for this part of your play or the piece or your life, I didn't use any other words than exactly these. And I think this is a beautiful ending and a beautiful way for us to take this home. And I think we, maybe together, this is what makes it whole, that we basically sent the same message in all of the languages out there. by saying, love each other, respect each other. You don't have to be friends with each other to be nice to each other, and let your light shine. This is when Joe was performing by doing the part with a tiny, tiny piece. We don't need to hide, because if we let it grow, it will be so huge that you can't hide it anymore. But this is on all of us to decide when we're ready to let it out. And when you just said you wish you could see all the parts in that queer way, I think you will when you're ready for it. And we don't need to hate any part of our past, because we already lived it anyway. And tomorrow is tomorrow. And I think there's always a reason why we're not ready to see something. And sometimes we need to meet the right people to be ready. And I learned beautiful things today. I'm very emotionally moved. I'm very blessed. And I know how, I don't know how, there are no words for it to say that I could have hated that I waited 23 years to be ready to ask myself for a next level or step up. But so I'm pretty sure, so do you or you or you or you. There's no time. There's no time frame, there's only a right here, right now. And
If I may,
yes,
it's this in between. As we
Also.
said before, we are on the way together.
and I
We're moving
love a good
in-
in between.
In between, absolutely, it's the best place to be, and we're right there. And we will always be in between something. Time and space and so many parts of us. And I'm happy that you're in between here with us. And if you may, but I don't want to interrupt you. You have the last word, because then we have a little in between present for you. But sorry, I want to give you the last word before we do that.
No, I'm very thankful that I'm able to share these parts of my life finally with other people, and I'm very, very thankful that you shared everything with us. So this also gives you a lot of credit for your safe space, because otherwise we wouldn't do it. And thanks that we met.
Thank you both so much. And now it's Christina to say thank you again.
Yes, thank you so much. And as a Catholic University chaplain, I want to say no one can forbid to bless. So thank you for your blessings. And I think we're all invited to do blessings and give blessings to each other. And no one should stop us. So we have some little things behind here. Kerstin? Das ist... nehme alles mit. Okay. Schon mal. So. Sorry, takes a little time.
We are in Mainz, you know. It's a city of wine.
Yes, of wine and champagne. So you can decide, we have some red wine, we have sect, kind of German.
The ladies.
What shall I do?
Here, so that.
Okay. So, thank you so much. I don't know what you like. Riesling white or rosé? The champagne?
The pink one.
The pink one is... Or here is a winter rosé. Maybe you like this, a very new wine. Take it with you. Thank you, Jo Clifford. Thank you, Brix Schaumburg. Petra Weitzel, what do you like?
We also need fight and
Fight.
you also get a little gift because without you, we wouldn't be here and listen to those two wonderful people.
Do you like rosé sect? Yes? Okay. Ja, vielen Dank. Und ich suche meine Maske.
So you choose and you can also choose afterwards if you want
Yes.
something else, but this pink one is just wonderful. You have another one. Okay.
So, und vielen Dank, many thanks to you, Kerstin, for our cooperation, for working together. It's really wonderful that you are here in Mainz and we can work together. Thank you so much.
Well, Christine, thank you. Thank you, my dear Catholic colleague. Thank you all so much. We are wonderfully made and we are blessed by God. She, they, them is right in here with us. Thank you. Thank you all for being here, those who are here in the church and those who
Our Technik and Orga team from the ESG. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I guess that will be the end of the official part, and whatever comes after that we'll see. And we say goodbye for now. Bye-bye.